This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids.
What up, everybody? This your boy Black Megas, and I saw a tweet last night that had been bugging me, especially with everything that's surrounding my life right now. That's in chaos. And I won't call out the name of the person who tweeted it because I don't think that that's fair to try to direct any type of attention to people like that, especially if it could be negative, because some of y'all just don't know how to act. And I'm not like necessarily bashing the person, because I don't think that their intent was to be mean-spirited. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But I made a tweet basically saying that nobody wants to hear any of your tired, sad stories. And I forget how they qualified it, but it was basically qualified in people don't have time for listening to you give sob stories and beg for help, and in the, comments, because I have the habit, like most of us do, to look at the comments, especially if something stands out like that to me. People were upset, asking them, where's your empathy? That's fucked up and all that. And he even replied, because somebody in the comments who supported him was like, yeah, people need to go out there and work and get it themselves. And he was like, right, you want something, you need to do something about it. And it stood out to me because the initial tweet, to me, I felt like, was poorly done. And then the follow-up about how people need to work for it and try to get it themselves. I feel like had he had said that as well, but even then in a different tone, he wouldn't have gotten the blowback that he got. Because a lot of times when you see people say things like that, and this has been going on way before Twitter, it's a part of the argument against things like welfare and other federal government assistance, Medicare, things like that. There's always been a perception that people who are in need and who ask for help aren't trying to get the help that they need. More importantly, they're not trying to do it themselves. And I think especially in this post-pandemic, as we like to call it, era, even though we're still in a pandemic, I think it's important to understand that there's just a lot of things, socially, especially in this country, in the United States, that, it's made to where not everybody's going to be able to do things on their own. Not everybody's going to be able to afford the basic needs of life on their own. Looking at my own situation, there's a lot of things that have happened. Some because of mistakes I've made. Some because I didn't act fast enough. Some because I didn't have the means to act. A number of factors. There's a number of factors in everything in life. And yes, there are people who just want people to take care of them, who don't want to make an effort to provide themselves with even the basics of life. They like the idea of being taken care of and not having to deal, not having to work, things like that. Sure, there's always going to be people out there who's going to be disingenuous and take advantage. That doesn't mean that everybody who's in need or who asks for help feels that way. It doesn't mean that everybody who's on government assistance is on there because they choose to be. Or they want to be. That's just not how life works. And you have to be careful when you say stuff like that, because, and again, I can relate to this very much. Letting people know your position, especially when it's a negative one, is not a comfortable thing for a lot of us. A lot of us indulge in the sin of pride. You know, we want to be able to do things ourselves. We want to be able to help ourselves. We don't want people to, give us a handout or anything like that. We just want, to be okay. And sometimes you gotta humble yourself, and you feel humiliated. You feel sad. You feel like, reflecting from my own feelings. You feel like a bum. You feel like a user. You feel abusive. You don't feel good about it, especially if you've been in a position where you're used to taking care of things on your own, and then all of that is just like all of a sudden fucked, and you're trapped in a situation that you just feel like you can't get out of, no matter how hard you try. And it doesn't help when you have people who are out there who bash you for that, who shame you for being in certain positions. And that leads to more disaster, because you don't want to ask for help, because then now everybody's giving you, shit for it, and you build this perception in your brain that I must not be shit for doing this, so let me not say anything, because I don't want people to, look at me a certain way. I don't want people to say certain things about you. And then it just gets worse, because you're not seeking the help and, the aid that you need, because society makes you feel like shit for being in that position. And it's just a weird, vicious cycle. It's something that people need to be more mindful of, to be more thoughtful of. But of course, you can't ask people to do that, because not everybody's going to have that level of empathy or understanding. The awareness to know, especially if you're not going through anything, and if the normal cliche, like, I worked hard to get where I'm at, why don't you, if that's your mentality, as a whole, you're never going to be able to understand that life don't work that way, that not everybody who hasn't made it or who's struggling isn't working hard not to struggle. Sometimes things just fall into place the way they, do, no matter how hard you try. And, this whole mentality of, like, people just wanting to be taken care of is what leads to a lot of situations where you have the fuck up ecosystem, the fuck up economy and things like that. And people are wondering why things are like that. It's because there's no balance between, like, making sure people get what they need and, allowing for opportunities for people to avoid horrible situations. It's wild. It's wild. And, I get it, especially because, like, the way things are going economically now, people are hurting. And you're getting a lot more people out there like me who have GoFundMes trying to find a way and having to deal with, like, crazy fucked up situations due to the economical state of the world and just bad luck, a couple of bad decisions that they, a couple of regrets, whatever. And it's just sad. It's sad that, be a little more mindful and thoughtful of, like, saying things like that. Because asking for help is hard, but it's not easy. For some people, it's easy because they don't want anything but to be taken care of, sure. But for most of us, we just want to be okay. That's all. Like, I know for myself, I just want to be okay. I just want life back to where it was, where I can just pay my bills and, have moments of joy and be able to enjoy life, and not be so stressed and so worried about everything. Like, I would love to have that back. And I'm working on my own, but I can't do it alone. And It hurts me to acknowledge that. But I can't do it alone. And a lot of times I find myself not even trying to, extend for help because I get tired. Because I feel, socially, we are told that there's a problem with that for doing so. And it's exhausting, it's tiring, it's frustrating, and it's not good to see people, say things like that. Thankfully for them, they're in a position where they don't have to worry, though. But for some of us, we don't have that luxury. This is what it is. Anyway, as always, you guys, feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you later. It's your boy Black Makers, and I'm out. Yes, sir.